Good evening. Actually should work this time. 99.9% confident now you have sound. Windows update last night, and apparently it reset all of OBS's sound input. Thanks for that. Anyway, we know how much I love it when it does things like that. So, we are here. I have updated my graphic, and we are ready to do triangle number 15. So, we have you, which I don't need for the moment. We have you, which I need immediately, because, well, you're the first ones. And you, who's a runaway bobbin. Right. We have Hedgie. There he is. Blonk. Hold him down a bit. Right. So, let's just make sure we know where everybody is. Now, I don't want to make you too short. I want to make most of you longer. My pillow must not be straight. If it's... Oh, it's definitely not straight now. The state of this. Some of these bobbins do go a little bit weird. That looks kind of straight. So let's make all these nice and long. So, I've been having some fun. I mentioned this on stream a couple of days ago, that I am trying to make an animation for you all for when Twitch ads I hit, and I'm actually getting somewhere with it, which is kind of surprising. So, yeah. So, I'm feeling quite pleased with myself because I made some animations today, and I found a dog, found a better dog, so she's got a dog now, and she gets up from her couch. I mean, at the moment it's just the stringing the actions together. It's not really telling the story yet, but she's sitting on a couch, she gets up, she can touch toes, she can do a bit of a stretch, and she walks off, and the dog's all kind of excited. So, and he came with some animation, so I don't have to worry too much about him, which is just as well, because I'm not sure I really want to be animating dogs as well, but I'm glad she can have a dog. That's far more realistic. So, but I am indeed feeling pleased with it. It is semi-like I hoped it would be. I mean, not entirely, because my animations are a bit crappy, but I mean, at the moment it's a bit like you chop her in half when she touches her toes, to be fair. She kind of leaps to the floor like, you know, there's the Hope Diamond on it. But, and I think her hands go through the floor at the moment, so a little bit of, you know, a little bit of detail to, you know, fix and everything, but for the most part, you know, feeling pleased, which is all that matters. So yes, it's okay. So yes, I started up my stream initially and there was no sound, and her face wasn't moving, and yeah, frankly, it was a bit of a mess. And while I fixed the sound, I didn't know if I'd fixed the sound because her face still wasn't moving, so it was acting like she wasn't. And so I killed the stream and started again, because I listened to the very, very, very short recording that it had made and discovered that indeed we do have sound. So whether she moved her face or not, I was safe to continue. So hence the false start of the day, which never helps, but sometimes it's very difficult to pre-test some of these things. Twitch really does need a kind of almost a test status where you can fire up and kind of like, it will say, I see picture, it's solid, I hear sound, it is solid, you know. Because you can do it on a Teams call. You can phone a test thing on Teams and it will go, I think it's Teams, it's either that or Jabber, one of them, but you can phone it up and it will play a sound at you and it will ask if you can hear it, and then you will speak to it and it will say, I can hear you, sort of thing. And it's really useful because it does help with the, you know, sorting out of, is it me, you, you know, kind of issues. So yes, it's Friday tomorrow. Yay, the weekend cometh. My dogs are going to be as excitable as they have been all day. I know they're nuts. Literally every time they've sat down and been comfortable, they wedge themselves behind me, and almost the instant it's like, right, fine, let's do this, they kick me, leap up like someone shot them in the butt, and kind of not in the mood for it now. I've had it for the last like 12 hours, so I kind of need them to quit now. And I can hear one doing potentially naughty things. No, she's drinking water. Sounded more like she was raiding something, so. Brother and won't come straight in and puke it on me, so, you know, small mercies, small mercies. Oh, got an itchy bit. Where's my scratchy thing? I've got a great back scratcher thing. And it's really good for moments like this because it's right in the middle of my back in a spot I know I can't reach normally. Just, there. Oh, yeah. And this thing's got metal teeth, so when it scratches, it actually scratches. Actually kind of gets in there and gives you a scratch. Without actually damaging you, obviously. That's 2 pins. I do fear this hedgie does not quite hold enough pins. Well, of course, you could hold more pens, but then you won't be able to pick them out individually. So. You know what I mean. It's not his fault. He's a nice edgy. We like him. Reminds me a bit of the gonks. It's his little close together eyes, I think. By the way, if you looked at the pictures of yesterday's completed completion, if you did not see at least 3 mistakes in it, you didn't look very hard. There are 3 glaring errors in it. Of course there are. Of course there are errors in it. No matter how hard I try, I always seem to manage it. And all 3 were not twisting things that should be twisted. So, let alone any others I have not yet spotted. But there were 3 glaringly obvious ones. What did I say about sticking it on the internet? And of course then you'll see them. And of course, I looked really closely. Or as I made it, didn't see them. Some of them were not at the end either. In fact, quite a lot of them were not exactly at the end of it. Some of them I made 3 or 4 days, maybe even a week ago. No, I managed to make mistakes again. Oops. As you're not listening, let's see if I can find something to listen to. See if my dude's awake on Twitch yet. Doubt it. No, but sure do. stream for me. Someone else I don't need in my life. See if there's something I can find to watch. Well, listen to. That's better. Right. once again, my boobs get in the way of me seeing what is going on. I think I used the wrong one last time. So let's undo that. Problem is I leave forward, I've got boobs, and then I can't see because the boobs are knocking the pillow away. It really doesn't help. Hey, Tenchy Tench, I've got something to show you. Hang on, kill that in my ear. Right, remember I said I was working on a thing? Well, I did a bit more of my thing today. Now, prepare yourself for very underwhelming excitement. The animation. So, I do mean it with a lot of respect, my good self, in that while I am proud of this, it's shit. So I'm going to play you this, and you're going to pretend to be really pleased at how well I did, right? Because that's how it's going to go. Right. So, there's my thing. So while this isn't the g'day, so I have. This is not the final rundown, the timing or anything like that, but you will see, I found a dog. He comes pre-animated. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. She is not pre-animated, so I've had to do all of her stuff. So let me play what... He is a nice dog. So let me show you what I have succeeded with so far. That was it. I mean, it's not exactly going to be winning Oscars, but she's a little over enthusiastic on the drop down for touching her toes, and her hands do kind of go through the floor. Aware of that. She's well, exactly. So I've got those, and I can, I can alter those slightly so she's not quite so enthusiastic on the first one, and not quite so fucking hell, I have to for the second one. So she's a little bit more enthusiastic for the second one, because to be honest, while a good stretch is a good stretch, you do have to look like you tried. But she starts in a T pose, obviously. But she sits down so she can stand up. So she stands up. She's got a walking animation. She's got an idle animation for standing. She's got the touching her toes through the floor animation with gusto, and the little twisty thing. So at the moment I've just got 2 strips that kind of wait a few seconds, do one, wait a few seconds, do one. But to be honest, I've seen worse. I mean, not in a, published game or anything, but I've seen worse efforts in my life, mainly from me, but their animation's all the same. I did have a hell of a lot of trouble with it. I've got a tool. Well, I've got a tool that helps with animation, and it's a really good tool, but when I used it the first time round, it was so simple. You literally kind of went, look, here's my skeleton, and it went, okay, and it went, I think you should rig it like this, and you went, okay, and it then went, well, Unity is not bad for animations. Believe me, I'll be even shitter in Unreal. So let's be real about this. But the part of the nicety of the tool is that it helps with some of the physics to keep it looking slightly, well, I say realistic. Clearly, it's not actually realistic, but it does help things like. It does tend to show you when you've kind of made it freak out and the arm kind of does a half Nelson or something, right? It tries to keep the joints within certain parameters, and, your shoulders can't suddenly get, 3 feet wide. If you move the shoulders, well, then the head's kind of got to move a bit and the back's got to move a bit. So it kind of does a lot of this for you. And it can actually be really frustrating to try and make it bend in the middle. I know that sounds really easy because you'd think, select everything above, rotate it around the bit in the middle, ta-da! Well, that's what I try and do. That's harder than it sounds. But, so making a bend over was actually quite difficult. Making her sit was equally difficult because basically you had to take everything from the hips up and pull it downwards, while trying not to let her knees move, but you can't not let her knees move. You can't say to the tool, this bit shouldn't move. So one of the things that I have noticed a lot with animations are feet. Feet tend to move a lot in animations, whereas, of course, in real life, they don't so much. You muddle your ankles, but, if you're standing on one leg, chances are, unless you're on the ball of your foot's not moving. And so when you see a lot of animations in games and stuff, the feet move, and so let's say they step forward to smack you on the head with something, whether it's a sword, a bottle, doesn't really matter. If you look at the leading foot drags around the floor, and the back foot can often drag forward, so the whole character ends up moving forward, and it's just not natural. And it's something I've seen quite a lot of, and it's something that gets on my nerves because, like everything, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And the more you see of it, the more you look for it, and the more you look for it, the more you see. And this bobbin's getting real frickin' low here. I don't remember it being that low when we finished yesterday, but this is not going to last very long. Hell's teeth. I really don't remember any of them being this low. Oh, I'll have to do something about that at some point then. In fact, now might be a really good time to do that. So I'm just tidying my bobbins up a bit. So yeah, I am pleased with it though, because it is kind of growing in the direction I wanted. I mean, it's got a lot of work to do on it still, clearly, but at the same time, it's getting there. It's getting there. Right. Somehow you've disappeared into a pile of nothingness. Now, we need to look at you, because you are not the pairs that I thought. You are, and you are, yes. So I was right. You cheated yourself out of being in the right places. That was nearly a faux pas of the ages. Pins. So yes. But at least it's Friday tomorrow, tench. It's Friday tomorrow. I don't have to. I only have to do 5 hours work tomorrow. On the bad news, I've got to fix my car. And I meant to ring a man about it today. And like a lot of things that I've been meaning to do, I remember I was meaning to do them and then realised I haven't. So, for example, when I started the stream, although I had to start it again because I had no sound because of a Windows update yesterday, so I restarted it because I'd checked I'd got sound and it was actually coming out the other end. But I know I sat down to phone a man. I googled the garage, I got the number, and I didn't ring them. And I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't ring them. But I did speak to my car insurance dude, and he said something I didn't know, which was that while, for example, in the UK, not too unsurprisingly, it is illegal to drive without insurance. This I knew. What I didn't know was that if you have a car and you do not have a valid MOT, which is basically they test our cars for roadworthiness, you cannot insure your car. Now, I'm pretty sure you can. You can insure it, but you're wasting your money, is possibly more of what he meant. In that, you know, you might pay for full comp on, so that basically should someone drive into it, it will be repaired at not your cost. But because it's not roadworthy and they can't prove it was in a decent shape before they hit it, they're not going to repair it. So that is, I mean, it's one of those, I probably could have worked it out, but I never thought about it like that because, well, I never needed to. I've never owned a car. I wasn't planning, well, I wasn't actively driving. That's not entirely true. But I had a Cortina and I don't think I insured that, but then I don't think I insured it. So I wasn't expecting that to happen. Because it just sat on my driveway rotting gently. So, yeah. So now I've got to get my car fixed so that it's insured, so that should something happen to it, but also it is the right thing to do, because should anything happen to the dogs, I don't know what it's like everywhere else in the world, but British taxi drivers are unpredictable. A lot of taxi drivers will not allow you in the car if you seem ill, because A, they might get it, B, you might puke, pee, whatever on their seat. And a lot of them will not take pets for exactly the same reason, let alone one that's maybe bleeding everywhere because it got bit by the other one, or, you know, puking or feeling really ill, or they just don't want that in the car because also the next person might be allergic. You know, it's not that it's unreasonable. And don't get me wrong, that is something that I do feel it is stress. It's not unreasonable that they don't want that in their car. At the same time, you know, if you're waving money at them and emergency strikes, you know, you kind of will say, well, I need the help. I can't, you know, I can't magic it the 5 miles across. You know, I'm not, you know, if you had owned a Cagny Corsa or something, you're not going to carry that 5 miles to the vet. Now, admittedly, mine are not that big, but I still wouldn't want to carry them as far as my vet. So, and knowing my luck, my vet would make me go to the. They've got a number of surgeries now. They join some kind of, I won't say community, but a unison of other vets. So they're all under one basket name now, which is the name of my original vet. But it is a collection of vets in the name of some form of franchisey type thing. Anyway, they'd probably send me to the furthest possible one, so it's not, you know, down the road, turn left kind of thing. It's now trek halfway around the countryside. So, yeah, it's not what you need. So I'm going to have to repair my car in case of dog. But even my insurance dude, who was a family friend, even he agreed. If it was just me, it's not worth it. Because, you know, I can get a taxi pretty much anywhere, and for the few times out a year that I kind of need one, I can get a taxi, and God forbid I really want to do a decent journey, I can hire a car for a lot cheaper than a taxi. So with that in mind, you know, by the time you've paid for the service, the MOT, the insurance and all the rest of it, it's probably the best part of £1,000. Well, that buys quite a bit of rental car and you know, because you rent a shit one, and taxes. So from that point of view, it really is not worth it. The problem then comes, as I say, dog. You know, I do not want to lose a dog because I didn't have a car and I couldn't get in a taxi and I couldn't wake somebody to take me. I mean, my neighbours would take me in a heartbeat, but they've got to be here. They've got to be, you know, available because, you know, they work for a living too. You know, I know that they would do everything they could because they're that kind of people. But, I mean, when I had them neutered, Trev gave me a lift to the vet in the morning, had a bit of a moan about it, which is fine, because, you know, it was first thing in the morning and all of that. Wouldn't come pick them up. Well, I put them in together, so now I had two dogs that really need someone in the back of the car to hold them because they will want to try and sit on you while you're driving, and well, that's against the rules, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Plus, of course, you need to make sure they're not licking anything, biting anything, chewing anything of stitches and the like that they shouldn't. And of course, you don't really want to be head-butted by the cone of death. So, you know, you really need someone in the back of the car to keep control of them. Well, it's not like I've got one of those dog cage blocker things, where you have like barrier bit of mesh that goes across your car. Don't have one of those because they don't make one for my car. I can't put them in cages, so there's no point buying a cage for the back of my car because they scream on sight of one. I mean, I've got some fencing, for want of a better word. It's kind of a temporary fencing thing I bought when I first got them so that I could limit their distraction. Yeah, if they see that, they scream. I can't do it to them. I really can't. So you kind of need someone in the back of the car. And I kind of desperately kind of went, I know this is a bit, you know, a bit rude kind of thing, but is there any chance you could give me a lift to the vet? One of them cancelled their meetings and took me. I mean, they didn't have to, but they did. And they were, and you know, when I was in hospital, they looked after the dogs. They were, you know, when I got rushed in, they looked after the dogs. None of my friends offered. So, you know, they truly are beautiful, wonderful people. But, you know, Murphy's Law states it would happen when they're out, when they've gone away for the week, because they do actually go on holiday. It would just be, you know, and it's also incredibly presumptuous to go, I won't have a car because I'll rely on my neighbours should the time arise. Yeah. So, and of course, they can't even, you know, if I don't have car insurance, they can't even do the hand me their car keys and say, well, you can drive this one, because for me to drive someone else, for you to drive someone else's car in this country, you must have insurance. Now, you must have insurance. Not I must have insurance for you to drive it. You can be a named driver if you do not have insurance, but I certainly would never expect them to put me on their car insurance. But secondly, it means that I must have valid car insurance, which I wouldn't have. Plus all my no claims bonus that I built up over the last 58 billion years would also get washed down the pan. So should I ever need a car in again, I would have to pay full frickin' whack, and believe me, that's a scary number. So I'm gonna have to fix my car and try and explain to the garage that it doesn't move at the moment, and the only garage that I know of that isn't an arse doesn't exactly have the ability to come and get it if they can't get it working on my driveway. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. I'd like to think it's just the battery, but then it had new battery last year. It shouldn't be the battery. So maybe it's just a connection. But what if it's not? You know, what if it's actually proper bucket? So yes, I'm hoping it's the battery. So at some point I need to go outside with the thing that I bought, wherever that went, and see if I can kick-start it. If it can be kick-started, then it is the battery, and it's just flat and maybe needs charging, but I can send it off and they can stick it on charge while they work on it. But some small mega fortune, most likely, in terms of there's a fly and it's getting on my nerves. It's a bit late in the year to be having flies, but well, it looks like a fly. It's probably got some fancy name, but it's kind of like a fly, so fly it is. So if you see anything that seems to be like a fly buzzing around the camera, it has occasionally kind of flown. It's probably in its dying moments, but it's around. So what have you been up to today, Tench? Okay, I've got to do something about this bobbin, but I can't do it now, really, because I've got nothing I can attach it to. And it seems to have knotted itself. There we go. Itch, 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 itch. It's one of those ow itches where you say ow first and then need scratching. Oh, that's better. Not sure how to do this. It's too short. It's just exactly the wrong length. Well, there is another answer, you know. Where's my thing? I say, dog, could you be really any more in the way? Can you get out of the way? Out! Come on! Out! Bit of out so I can actually, like, move would be good, thank you. Because the top of my things. There's one. There's the other bits. It's darkest depths of nowhere, down the back of something, around the back of the thing of the nowhereness. You know how these things work. There's an awkward bloody place for it to have gone. But it went. Thank you for that, for falling on me. That was really helpful. So there are the two no's. I can't see where the big wooden stick went. And everything is in the way. I can't put that down anywhere because you'll get shitty about it now. It's the big wooden stick. I have those and not the wooden stick. Hard to tell when I haven't got it next to each other. Dear me, is that it? Yes, that's it. And put my two spools back on. What this really needs is to be 3D printed with a lockable top so it don't come off. When the dogs have knocked things, because that's exactly where that was. That was on the table, but somebody decided to go climbing on it the other day, and well, didn't really work out. So let's wind some winesy bobbin. Got more piles of things in the way because I wasn't expecting to be doing this for a while. So I've covered this up a bit. Everything's just irritating. This is considerably more than we need for, obviously, for the rest of this square, but hey! Bit of that. Where's my scissors? Snippety doodle. And what we can do is put a knot in it. Why do you put a knot in it? Because I'm going to cut it off later. I can attach it around a pin now, but I can cut it off later. Problem is I can't do knots with really small amounts of string because I've got fat fingers. So I end up wasting like 28 inches of string trying to make a knot. What I'm trying to do is an overhand knot in like this, but because when you twist it, it comes apart. It's really hard for me. you. And we'll put you as far back as we are able, which is back here. And we'll loop you over it like that. And then you can come down like that. And ta-da! Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've come. You're just annoying. Put a stick around you. So I'm going to need you for a minute. Around that pin and out and up. There you go. Like that. All that palaver. Taking the shine off me there, that had. Hang on a sec, let me reply to this. manage my work laptop because that would be really important. Oh, Rory, can I not sit on your foot, please? Oh man, here you go. Gonna run out of pins in a minute, aren't they? where that other pin went. phone calls can do that. It's a bit like when your brain goes, I'm not really hungry. And you eat one bite of it and realise you've then just devoured 68 pizzas and you're kind of going, I thought you weren't hungry. Long phone calls always happen when you'd least expect it. Sorry, I'm listening to something, and some guy's gone off on one, and the guy whose stream it is, kind of went, so out of somewhere in the region of 50,000 people who put these questions help form the questions that we asked in the interview. Only you have the answers. Oh, and you think that half the questions didn't make sense? You considered it's you that's stupid? Good for him. Good for him. I love it. Running out of steam. It's the only problem with streaming during the week is I am running out of steam. It is quite funny Apparently the guy's come back and said, well, my wife says I'm right, and, if you don't agree with me, you're offensive. It was like, well, I think you're fat and ugly. Does she agree with that? Because, of course, it is the word of the day. I'm offended. Really? Well, try this for offensiveness. Very much my school of thought. Oh, you found that's offensive? Try this. Oh, darling, I wasn't even trying. Here, let me put some effort in. Obviously, calling him fat and ugly is not really a lot of effort, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's... Oh, did I offend you by accident? Oh, diddums. Yeah, you wait till I'm trying. There was a lovely meme type thing. And it's kind of like, I'm offended. Well, that's nice. I'm not. And it's like, so what happens when you're offended? You're offended. Doesn't change anything. And it really put down the fact that all these people kind of who run around screaming about being offended all the time, and they're offended about everything on behalf of everybody, and it really was the, so you're offended. Well, what's going to change? Absolutely nothing. You're offended. And? So? Yeah. Let's put this in perspective. Does it matter? No. And yeah, don't get me wrong. There are times when people do offensive things and people should be offended. But the problem is it's kind of like everything. It feels like it's kind of sometimes gone a little far. And we've now got to a point where I can't think of a good one to use that wouldn't get me canned, to be honest. But, it's a bit like, oh, isn't your dog beautiful? You saying my wife's dog? No, I'm talking about the dog in the photograph, dude. You're the one that called your wife a dog, not me. It's the, if you're offended by it, do you really believe you're truly offended by it? Or are you offended by it on principle because you believe you should be offended by it? I mean, like everything, if someone says to you, I'm really hurt by what you said, you should reflect on what you said and whether or not they're being overly sensitive. Because we can all be overly sensitive to something. For anyone who's ever had a boyfriend, girlfriend and broken up with them, it is the thing that was on The Simpsons where she gets a bowling ball and he's written Homer on it and she's in a real stinking mood with him. And she decides that she'll go and learn to do bowling despite him because she bought the butt because he got her the ball. And this guy called Jacques, who's obviously a bit of a swooner, kind of swoops in and she realises what's going on and she's driving around everywhere and everybody's a couple. Everybody's a couple. And it's true. When you've just broken up with everybody, everyone and their dog has got someone. And I mean literally everyone and their dog. You can't move. It's wall-to-wall couple, right? And sometimes it hurts because, you feel like you're the only one on your own and, all this kind of stuff. And you can't be offended because they've got someone. You can be offended at the thing that your partner did that caused the split, perhaps. You can be offended at your own behaviour. You can be offended that maybe they chose something over you and, that's not the priorities you believed that they had. That they were not the person that you thought. But it's not their job to fix that. Even if they flat lied to you, it's arguably not their job to fix that because, unless you were married to them and, there are legal ramifications, boyfriends and girlfriends come and go. That's kind of why they're called boyfriends and girlfriends. They're like the trial effort, right? Wife trial 1.0. It's, if you can't go around expecting everyone else to fix you're offended. Because, to be honest, of course there are things that people find offensive. I see adverts on Facebook that I find offensive. But I also recognise that to other people, they would not be offensive. So who's in the wrong? Me or them? Well, chances are, it is an opinion. It's an opinion that lives in my head and I'm allowed to have it. So one of the things, for example, Facebook seems to really, really, really love showing me adverts for stories, videos, adverts for books, along these, anything along those lines. So any form of narrative about alpha/wolf porn. Now, between you and me, I don't own any porn, and I don't exactly, it's not like I even rent it on the internet. So, I'm not overly into wolves, to be fair. I mean, they're not, they're beautiful animals, but, I'm far more likely to look at cat videos and dog videos and, people screwing their hair up videos. And so I don't know where they've got this idea from. Just like Facebook keeps thinking I'm in Milton Keynes. For the record, I'm not. Oh, people in your area, Milton Keynes. I'm not in. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours drive to get to Milton Keynes from here. I am not in Milton Keynes. In fact, I'm not even sure I've been to Milton Keynes. Not really. I might have passed it a few times, but I've never actually been there, I don't think. Mainly because it is the cesspit of the UK and we don't talk about it. But, for some reason, Facebook really is besotted with Milton Keynes. A few years ago, it was Plymouth. Apparently everything was Plymouth. I assume it's something to do with where my ISP kind of reports everybody and, but I'm not there. That's not me, and that's right. That's right, he's just found something bad in some patch notes. And he was like, holy shit, and I'm, what? I wasn't listening. So, but wolf porn, oh my good God. The amount of wolf porn that Facebook tries to give me is almost a deluge. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, no one can tell you how you feel. Only you truly, truly know how you feel. But sometimes you can be feeling things for the wrong reason. For example, it's your birthday, someone buys you a present, and you don't really like it, it's not your thing, you thought they knew you better than that. You can be really upset thinking that they didn't try. Or maybe it's what they thought you'd like and to them it would be the perfect gift. Don't make the assumptions you know how they feel either. And so while I do believe you can't tell someone how they feel, so you say you're offended, that's fine. I acknowledge that you feel offended. But I'm not going to bend myself out of shape trying to please everybody, because you can't. Because if you stop offending that one, you'll offend someone else. You can't win. There's just too much to go going round. Too much. Never mind. But as I say, you can't tell someone how they feel. So if they say they're offended, you're offended. That's fine. You just said something about something, and I want to know what you said because I missed it. Hang on. Let me just pull up what he's reading through and do a quick search on it. There we go. Right, patch notes. I think these many of these patch notes make a lot of difference to me, but yeah. Really struggling with this. Really running low on batteries here. I've got 2 more rows to go. Come on, brain cell, pick it up. Sorry. I'm getting really good at picking up 2 pins out of poor old Hedgy Face over there. Mind you, he's really down on pins at the moment, so... Excuse me. Is it me, or does this feel slightly faster, having pins in Hedgie? I feel like I've done more today in the... Hang on. Scroll. 2.25 hours that I've been on than I normally do. I mean, I've always whined that it is the pins that seems to slow it down, so it could make a lot of sense that this is shaving some time off it. But I'm looking at the amount I've done in 2.25 hours. Now, bear in mind, I've stopped, I've poked things, I've restarted my stream. Bone ones. Yeah, I don't know, but the big ones don't bend as much, that's for sure. But I've completely depleted poor old Hedgie from being really spiky down to not a lot. But, you know, going forward I can use those pins here. So Hedgie's not quite done, because obviously we need more pins per row. But I can fill him up while sitting in a meeting or something. Or not, as the case may be. I will fill him up, don't worry. But it does seem like, I feel like that went faster. I mean, not like, you know, faster, but faster, more... I feel that there was less faff. Because considering, obviously, I showed you my animation thing, we you know, we've had a bit of a chat, we you know, it's not like that I haven't stopped and done some other things. I stopped to find the thread that when I ran out of thread on one of my bobbins. So with all that in mind, you know, I've wasted a fair bit of time, but still, 2.25 hours, and admittedly it is nearly 9 o'clock now, and I'm feeling really, really hard done by, but, you know, it does seem that that felt quicker. Now, obviously perception is a thing. You know, much as we all know that when you're waiting, time slows down. When, you know, if you're waiting for exam results, it's forever. If you don't want it to happen, it comes around real quick. You know, all of those kind of aspects. But it does feel like it was quicker. Let me put Hedgie back here so that he's out the way, but he's still in the deal. Grab my pile of cloths to cover everything up with, because I'm going to quit so that I can upload this tonight, because last night, because we finished the triangle, we finished at like 11 something. It was nearly 11:30 when we finished, so I didn't upload it last night, so I had to upload it this morning and then post about it at lunchtime, so it was a bit late and everything. So today, doing it today would be a really, really good plan. Plus I've got a patch of a game to download. I'm quite interested to see how this changes everything, because it's been a long awaited patch. Path of Exile 2, in case anyone's interested. So yeah, but yes, I shall be back at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So that's what, 3, 2, 1. Hang on. 3, 2, 1, 20, 19, 18, 17 hours time. And you, Tench, it's been really nice to see you again. I missed you, my friend, I missed you. I mean, I know often you're lurking, but it's nice knowing you're out there and that I'm not just talking to the world, so, or I'm not just talking to myself, more accurately. So, thank you very much for coming, and I shall see, hopefully, people tomorrow. Bye-bye.